I'm curious to know your first experience at the UN and just what stood out to you that made you specifically want to stay there.
That's an interesting question. I think I was tired of changing jobs because I was tired of getting into a team, liking the team, and then having to leave because that was the third time it was happening. When in the first case for the OECD, I left because I really wanted to work for Gavi, but it was still like tough, you know. And so I think I was longing for a bit of security. The work itself was very interesting because UN Women is the agency focused on ending violence against, like the mission is extremely interesting. Ending violence against women, women's economic empowerment, women peace and security, women's access to services, healthcare, etc. So it's really the mission was what I was most passionate about. But more than anything, in that moment, I was really longing security, which I didn't have, and I was just frustrated at the system for just being very non-receptive towards like young people. And I already had like 3 internships, one of them at the UN. Like, what, I had a master's, what else do you want, really? And so I was extremely frustrated, and I was really longing for that security of like, okay, I just want to be in an organization that actually cares about me, that cares about my development, that wants to see me grow. The same thing had happened at Gavi. And so I was like, okay, is there a place for me in this world of international development, cooperation, UN, etc.? And so that was, I was tired. I mean, at the end of it, remember January, I went back into therapy because I was so exhausted. I was like, what am I doing? Is this even, is this even worth it, after all this, masters and, internships? And it was tough, after that, I started applying for jobs and applying for jobs and applying for jobs. And finally in May, 5 months later, I got something. I got this job with CHAI, Clinton Health Access Initiative, which is a big global health NGO, I had submitted so many applications to CHAI before, but of course been systematically ignored. And then I saw this position which was initially advertised as a volunteer, which is CHAI's jargon for interns. And then it got changed to analyst. And I was so desperate that I had applied for this volunteer position. And when I applied, when I was like, putting it in my Excel to track all the applications, like, why did I even apply for a volunteering position? What if I get it?
You're like, now I'm going to have to be a volunteer. It's a new title, but it's the same job.
Exactly. And it's the same exploitment internship, like, what am I doing? And so CHAI, I would only get rejection. CHAI was really an interesting organization for me. I'd spoken with a lot of people who had worked at CHAI. I really liked the model. Everyone said great things about the organization. I really liked their programs. So I was like, okay, this might be it. But then I would get constant rejections, or I was ghosted all the time. So then one night I get this email from CHAI's HR, and I'm like, oh, we want to invite you. We're pre-screening you. We're inviting you to a pre-screening phone call. Can you confirm the following details? And trust me, I was gonna delete the email because I thought it was another rejection. Yeah. And I was like, wait a second. And then I saw that the title had changed, that it was analyst, not volunteer. It's like, wait a second.
This is getting interesting.
This is getting interesting. And then I do the interview, and then I do a test, and then I do the interview with the team, and I get the job. And it was great. So the job was, I was working in CHAI's vaccines markets team, but a sub-team that worked on health facility solar electrification. And so a very innovative project, something I'd never worked in, and I was like, I don't really know if this is my kind of thing, but these people, when I was doing the interview, seemed very cool, very nice, very welcoming. They don't really care about me not being an electrical engineer and not knowing a lot about solar panels. But they seem passionate and interested in the job, so I'll give it a go. And it was incredible because the team was amazing. I learned so much in terms of like how to be a good leader, how to be a good communicator, how I was actually responsible for my own line of work. I really improved my project management skills, really stepped out of my comfort zone. You know, I went to Ethiopia to have workshops with our Ethiopian colleagues who at the beginning seemed to hate me, but then we became best friends. I went to Zambia. It was incredible.
Wow.
Like, it was really good, and I really didn't want to leave Chai because for the first time I had found an organization that was actually interested in me, interested in, you know, my growth, my development, who saw like a spark, you know, who saw something in me, some like interest, passion about the work, and wanted to retain me and wanted me to grow. And so it was great. It was really great, and I had no intention of leaving Chai. But
and then
but life happens.